In this video, I'm going to show you how to automate your cold email outreach so that you don't have to spend hours every day manually writing emails. But first, let me introduce myself. My name's George. I'm the founder of Emailchaser. Now let's get into the video. Most people, when they send cold emails, spend lots of time manually writing each email. And in some situations, that might be a good idea, especially if you have a very small list of leads that you're reaching out to. But in most situations, there might be thousands of businesses that are a good fit for your product or service, and manually writing each email for each lead, it just doesn't make any sense from a time perspective. Although there's cold email automation tools like Emailchaser that make this a lot easier, there are still things that you have to consider, because even if you use a tool like Emailchaser, if you don't have a consistent flow of leads coming in, you're going to still have to spend a lot of time constantly trying to find new leads to contact. So what I recommend that you do is set up an evergreen cold email campaign. And what that is a campaign which has new leads being added every single day or every week, so that instead of you just constantly trying to find new people to contact, which is a never-ending cycle, you set up a system which automatically adds new leads every day or every week, so that once you launch the campaign, you don't have to come back to it. It just generates new leads for your business all the time, forever. And that's really the best way to utilize cold email if you're trying to generate revenue for your company. Now, that might sound a little complicated, but it's relatively simple. And in this article on Emailchaser's blog, I go through basically a 4-step process that you can follow to do this, to create that evergreen campaign. And you'll see that the first step says identify your ideal leads, or ICP. And that's really important, because you want to make sure that the leads that you have being added to your campaign every day or every week are people that are relevant to your product or service, and are people that actually need your product or service. Because if you just send out thousands of emails to generic business owners, you're going to have a very low response rate, because most of these people don't need your product or service. And if you have a very low response rate, your email accounts will eventually get blacklisted, because ESPs like Gmail and Outlook can see when an email account is sending out thousands of emails but receiving basically no responses, and they're just going to blacklist you. So from a deliverability perspective, it's very important that you don't do that you don't follow the spray and pray approach, because it just doesn't work anymore. Instead, you have to have very targeted lead lists. And the mistake that most people make is they think that just because a lead falls into some kind of generic category, like, I don't know, maybe they're a CEO in a specific location in a specific industry, that somehow means that they need your product or service. But that's not true. Just because someone is a particular industry doesn't mean they need your service or product. So what you actually need to do is identify an action or an event which these people are performing on a recurring basis, which implies that they need your product or service. So there's a lot of different examples of how that works. One quick example I'll give you is, let's pretend you're a recruitment agency and you help other businesses hire people. Well, an example of a recurring event which implies that a company needs recruitment services is if you go to LinkedIn Jobs and you see companies are posting job ads. Well, if a company posts a job ad, obviously that means that they're hiring people and they need to hire someone. So that would be a very good event or action to go after, because you know for a fact that that company needs to hire someone. So you can reach out to the hiring manager or the owner of the company, and you can say something along the lines of, hey, I saw that you're hiring for this position on LinkedIn Jobs. I have a candidate already. Can I send you their resume, or something like that? That's one example. Another example might be if I'm launching a cold email campaign for Emailchaser, then my ICP is someone who already uses cold email software. So instead of just contacting random business owners, most of whom probably don't even know what cold email is, I want to only contact people that already use cold email software, because they're much more likely to respond to me. And if someone's already using cold email software, that means that they probably need Emailchaser, so they're a good person to reach out to. So what I've done in some of my campaigns is I've built up a automatic system which scrapes all of the people that are signing up for competitor email warm-up tools, and we're able to basically identify all the people using our competitors' warm-up tools, and we add them automatically to our evergreen campaigns. Then we send them email sequences saying something along the lines of, hey, saw you're using this company's warm-up tool. Would you like to try Emailchaser, for free for X amount of time, in exchange for feedback on the product, something like that. And that performs very well. And that's just another example. But the right answer for your particular business depends. And I cannot necessarily say in this video what that is. It takes some creativity, but if you just focus on identifying an action or event that occurs that implies that the person actually needs your product or service, then you're much more likely to find relevant leads. So once you've identified your ICP, you then have to extract them, and that's what I just sort of mentioned. Extracting the leads at the time of that event or action requires you to build a custom scraper. Building a custom scraper doesn't have to be expensive. You can hire someone on Fiverr or Upwork for, a couple $100 usually to do this. So it's really not that expensive, and it's worth it because once you're extracting these relevant leads, you're gonna have a much higher response rate and your deliverability is gonna be much better. Because if you don't do this, your email accounts will probably get blacklisted if you just spray and pray random business owners. So definitely recommend that you go through this work and put in the effort to do this, because the other option of just spraying and praying cold emails really just doesn't work anymore. Especially in the last few years, ESPs are getting much more strict with cold email because it's been abused with the introduction of a lot of tools that make it very easy to send a high volume of emails. So every year that passes, cold email will get more difficult. It won't be difficult if you do what I'm showing you here. If you do what I'm showing you here, it's always going to work. But for all the people looking for shortcuts who don't want to put in any effort or time or energy to building a relevant campaign, those people are always going to get a spam. So once you've extracted the leads through your custom scraper, which you can build for little to no cost through Fiverr, Upwork, you want to add those leads. Well, actually, no, you want to find their email addresses. So let's say we're extracting these leads and we're identifying the business owner for each company that's doing whatever the action is. We then want to find their email addresses. So there's a lot of tools online that allow you to find people's emails. Email Chaser, for example, has a free email finder tool. There's other companies as well. If you just Google email finder tools, you'll find a bunch of them. And you can either do it one at a time, or you can upload a CSV file and it'll just find all the emails for you. But basically, you want to find their email. So in the example I gave earlier about the recruitment company, for every single company that you extract that posted a job ad on LinkedIn Jobs, you can then find the email address of the owner of each company or the hiring manager, whoever is the most relevant. And if you don't have much time, you can hire a low-cost virtual assistant from a website like this, onlinejobs.ph, for just a few $100s per month. So they can do it for you manually, or you can automate it through software, whatever makes sense. Once you've found their email addresses, you want to add these leads with the emails to your campaign in Email Chaser. The best way of doing this, and the best way of making this an evergreen campaign, is by connecting a Google spreadsheet to the campaign in Email Chaser, so that every single time a lead is added to your Google spreadsheet, it's then automatically added to the campaign. So for example, if you hire a virtual assistant to do this for you, you can ask the VA to add those new leads to the Google spreadsheet, which you share with them. And then that Google spreadsheet obviously is connected to your campaign. So it's just a never-ending cycle of new leads being added. And every single day, you're going to be reaching out to new relevant companies, and you're going to be receiving responses on a daily basis and generating revenue for your company. And just in terms of how this actually works, I'm going to go into my Email Chaser account now just to quickly show you. When you're inside Email Chaser and you're creating a campaign, you click the Create Campaign button. When you're creating a campaign, you have two choices. So these are the two choices right here. You can either upload a CSV file, which is more of a static campaign, because once you upload the CSV file and it contacts all those leads, that's it. But the Google Sheets option, which is what I'm referring to in this video, that's better for evergreen campaigns, because this allows you just to add more leads on an ongoing basis to your Google spreadsheet, which then get added to the campaign. So if you're trying to create a campaign that has new leads being added forever, then you want to, in most situations, choose the Google spreadsheet option. That's pretty much it. So just to summarize the general concept of this video, so just to remind you, the original topic of this video is how to automate cold email outreach. If you want to automate your outreach, you have to use a cold email software like Email Chaser, as I'm showing you here. But the best way to automate it is by creating an evergreen campaign where you have the leads being added to your campaign on a daily basis forever. And it is possible to do that fully automated just with software, but sometimes hiring a low-cost VA from a website like this is even better idea, because it adds more flexibility to the strategy that you can take. But whatever you do, if you follow the instructions in this article and this video, you're going to be able to create a never-ending campaign that generates more revenue for your business on a daily basis. And that's it. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this about cold email, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope to see you in our next video.